Hey, this is Jay of DeFi Journey. Got a video for you today with a more traditional view on Bitcoin, how to earn some yield by selling some covered calls. This is seen as more as a safer TradFi way for earning Bitcoin yield. So yeah, let's run through this together. So right here we've got IBIT. So IBIT is the most popular ETF for selling, for buying and selling calls in Bitcoin. So if we actually look here, you can see IBIT's got multiple millions, 42 million average compared to the other ones. So if you want to have more yield, you're going to want to find the one with the most volume. So IBIT's the best option in my opinion. So we'll go with that. So what first you want to do is, in order to sell covered calls, you have to have at least 100 shares of whatever you're trying to sell. So with IBIT, you got to have 100 shares, and that's going to cost you up front about $6,800. So, but yeah, so in order to do that, first you have to have 100 shares, and then we're going to hit Trade IBIT Options, and we are going to sell calls, and this is seen as the safest view for buying and selling calls. So you're just you're writing the call, you're selling the right for someone else to come and buy those shares, or someone who's seeking that IBIT might be above that price. So obviously here, so let's do this. So this is only one day out. I like to do these at least 3 weeks out. I think so. Let's go. I like to do things a lot to the end of the month. You get the most return if you sell about 30 days typically. You see with your decay. So when you sell a call, just for simple terms, like you're gonna get a lot more of that decay in just the last 30 days. So you can sell something further out, and it might be safer. You might get a little more initial premium, but if you're wanting to have a higher return, you want to sell it where like the last 30 days, it's gonna decay a lot more, a lot quicker than the previous like 60 or 30 days before. So just a quick view on that. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 22 days, and we are going to sell, I like to sell about Delta 10, especially in the upswing, and Delta is the amount of that the price of the option will move paired with $1 of the price of IBIT in this case. So we're going to go here, and so if you do here at 77, that's a Delta 15, which is pretty good. I like that. And also, but I kind of like the idea of 80 right here. So 80, that's very high. We're in an upswing. I think that'd be a pretty good return for just 22 days. And I like to look at the chart as well. So if you look at the chart of Bitcoin, I think we've come up upswing. If you're into technical analysis at all, we're setting this high here. RSI might be not RSI. Stochastic might be turning down, and I do think we kind of move back to these moving averages. So I am going to not be too aggressive, but I want to sell the call. I don't think we're going to set too much more in the near future. And then so with this, so if we have an $80 IBIT call, that will equal about $1,400 for a Bitcoin price. So that's quite a big jump from now. You can see here, this is the Bitcoin price, 140,000, and the same thing here's IBIT. So 80 is quite a bit off. That's pretty safe in my views. Not financial advice, but I like the sound of that. So let's do that. That's Delta 10, and we're going to do that. So and we are going to sell. I have enough to do 3 sales right now, so it would be just over $100. And so we're going to do 37. It's the bid, and so I want to get this in today, so I'm not going to try to fool around and put a little bit higher. So 37, and so we're going to put this in right here. So I'm going to chart here. Like here's some way to 10.9 IBIT. So selling the call. IBIT is at 68.49. 3 of them. Selected at 80. Double 10. Expired on 31st. And we said that it was 37. So 22 days. I'm getting about $5 a day in that for all three sizes, which isn't terrible. It's very safe. And so that's yielding about just about 9%, which isn't great. So maybe I'm actually going to adjust this down a little. I want a little bit more. I like to always have double digits, so I like to do this before doing it. So let's go here. So I'm going to take that off. Let's do a little bit more. So let's do maybe 77. So that's about delta 15. And so it's just a good way to kind of say how risky that play is. So if you're buying calls, that's very far out of the money. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do. Let's do 77. So 57, and if I change that to 57, so we're about 13, 14%. So I like that better. I think it's a better return on my capital, and I can always roll if it comes closer. So we're gonna do that. 77, and I'm gonna continue. So 57. View order. Submit. And it's filled. So then you see it's there. And so what should happen in theory, like you said here, that return should diminish. So if price of IBIT isn't above 77 by the time October 31st comes around, this should be worth $0. So then I get to keep that premium rather than if I were buying calls, then I'm wanting to have something that's in the money. So that is what I'm shooting for. And same thing too, if IBIT, Bitcoin were to go up a lot higher, then I would be obligated to sell my position at 77. So if that were to happen, and say Bitcoin and IBIT, Bitcoin's like at $144,000 and it's like, and IBIT's at 80, I sell it for 77 rather than having that difference. So that's the risk of everything. But same thing as show there, I think that's pretty slim as of right now. So I'm willing to take that risk. So yeah, thanks for checking this out. This is just another option. I like all the options with DeFi, TradFi, just to kind of expand your portfolio and mitigate risk. So, but yeah, thanks for checking us out. Please drop a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what other videos you'd like to see. So I'll see you in the next one.